I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my frustrations yet again. I'm gonna talk about my frustrations. Now, you see the thumbnail, right? You see the thumbnail, and I'm gonna tell you straight up that the adults need to come into to the room. Okay, the adults need to come into this room and sort all this foolishness out. But let me talk about myself first, right? Let me talk about myself first, right? Uh, 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, I should say. Um, I want to say since August, latter part of August, around the time, or I should say early September, when Charlie Kirk got uh, assassinated that same week. I want to say it was late August, early September, around that time period, right? Um, I have allowed myself to I've been denying myself a lot of things, right? And because of the deadline that's coming up, um, I told them no. Um, I told them no, and and like when there's somebody's giving you a blessing and you denied your own, you denied the blessing out of fear, or you denied the blessing for a certain uh see I self I deny myself a lot of things, and I just deny myself this one that I should be part of, right? And the part of the reason why I denied myself, or um is out of privacy for one, and second, I know the nature of the beast. Now I've been circling around this beast for a little while, and I'm having great struggle internally on me denying this. Now there's about 2, 3 people on YouTube who knows what I'm referring to. Then Queen Sunkiss, Pure Butterfly, and the other person, they're keenly aware of what this is really about. But I gotta say, and it's because partially it's because I'm afraid I'm not that adult. Okay. Um, I'm afraid I do not deserve that. I don't deserve that honor. So um and it has something to do with this main topic here, right? I wish the adults in society, if there is any functioning adults, would clean up this mess. Now, when I said adults, I'm not referring, and I know people say, "Well, I'm over 18, I'm over 21, and, I can drink beer." And yes, a lot of you, most of you are adults. Most of you are grown. You're over the age of 21, 18, 21. You're over that age, right? But how a lot of you act, and how do y'all form y'all's opinions, is childlike. Okay? It's childlike. And so we got too many people who claim to be adults, but but their childish activity uh shows. People are acting out of insecurity, they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of hate, they're acting out of, you know, low self-esteem. And nobody is not sitting here thinking, wait a minute, let me step out of that and let me look at this from a logical perspective. See, I have a history of not liking some of these online movements. I have a great distrust, and yes, I'll say it, a hatred of online movements, the hashtag movements, the pro-black community, the conscious community, the red pill community, you know, uh, FBA, ADOS, Pan African, RBG, right? I can't stand none of these movements because these movements is based upon low self-esteem and insecurity and fear. And a lot of you are supposed to be grown in individuals, and yet you back these online groups because y'all feel small within yourself. See, the adults need to be coming into the room. You know, I'll listen to Middle Nation and shout out to the Middle Nation channel. Now I know people say, well, this guy's Muslim. He's not black. He's a Muslim, white, a Caucasian. It doesn't even, first of all, I can give two flying fucks. Okay, I can do two flying fucks of what race your ass is. Right. That's, you know what? That's part of the reason why I'm not as liked in this space, because I really don't give a fuck about what race you are. Right. But the point I'm trying to make is when I'm listening to Middle Earth, he made a video about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about you got to take yourself serious in order to solve whatever problem you have in this country, in the Western world. See, a lot of you are not going to be taken seriously because these movements that y'all claim to be a part of, it's based upon this emotional, it's based upon feelings and not on concrete fact. Yeah, no. And when I said feelings, I want you to understand, I don't want nobody to be no robot, right? I don't want nobody to be no robot. Yes, feelings does count. But also you have to understand, do not let your feelings or let your logic to supersede humanity. Now it's a crime that devaluing somebody else's humanity excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make my point. I was going somewhere with this, and I was going somewhere with this. Let me rephrase what I was saying. Right, it's a crime when people won't go to the deep end in their ideology, and some people wants to devalue another person's humanity with some of these talking points, with some of these movements. Now, granted, I'm gonna say it right now, granted, I can't stand a lot of these tethers, right? So let me break this down for y'all, right? About the tethers. Now, I see this old ass African Negro named Frank. What's his name? I think I might do a video on this, right? I might do a video destroying him, dissecting, deconstructing his stupid talking points. Now he's a guy from Benna. He was born and raised in Benna, then the Republic of Benna. Then he moved to the United States, and then he got the nerve to talk about African Americans don't have a culture. Got the nerve to say that, right? This old Negro gonna have the nerve to say that, right? And I gotta say this. I'm gonna address him because the thing is, this has been going too far on both ends of this. Now, yes, I've been bashing the tethers upside the head, but make no mistake about it, right? Just because you see me dragging some of these Caribbeans and some of these disrespectful Africans does not mean I'm on the FBA ADOS movement. Because the way I see the FBA and the ADOS movement, both the movements are based upon hate. When ADOS was created in 9 years ago, or I should say 10 years ago at least, when Tone Talks and Viet Cornell created ADOS, right? The asinine arguments, such as we only going to vote down ballot, never mind who's running for president. We're just going to protest of not voting on the presidential level. But when it comes out that Donald Trump won, right? When Donald Trump won that election, and when Donald Trump started eroding away some of the civil rights acts and bills and some court cases, y'all look stupid because and then y'all and then how y'all try to form these strategies for reparations and trying to form these strategies. It's an asinine concept. It's asinine how on your strategy. So voting down ballot, which means you're not going to vote for president, which means you're going to vote for senator and your representative and a senator, when in reality it is the executive branch that's, as in the president, that's appoints the members of the judiciary. And all that movement was more about feelings rather than facts. So no, scratch that. It was more about the illogical, the irrational, rather than what is logical. It was not logical to assume this idea that Donald Trump was not going to roll away people's civil rights movement because you want reparations. Let me tell you something. I'd rather not. If somebody told me tomorrow, which would you have? The right to vote, the right to buy property, the right to own property, the right to have a fair, safe streets, the right to not have the police beat on my ass and kill me unjustly. What would you have? Would you have that, or would you have reparations? I'd rather have that, the earlier part, rather than just be getting a paycheck. And some of y'all will sacrifice all the other things that had happened just because you on the idea of the check. Write me a check. It's an irrational concept. Now, reparations, that's not That's not the argument. Let me say this again. The argument is not about being pro or anti reparations. It's the idea that you want reparations above the other stuff that's being provided. If they're knocking you over your head, to take you out of this world, redlining you and all that, you would rather to sacrifice all those other rights just because you want money in your pocket? What good is it to pay? What good is that money in your pocket when you're dead? And that's my problem with Tone Talks and Vivek Carnell. That's my problem with Tariq Nasheed and the FBA movement. And that goes about, and that, I'm gonna say this too, and I'm glad though the Elon Musk and Twitter thing has been. I'm glad though the Twitter thing has been exposed, right? These bots and who is giving money to whom. I'm glad though that's been exposed. See, not only white conservatives are being fed with racist and illogical AI automated about black people and black women and those fake stats have been going on, right? The point is, you get, the FBA movement and AUS movement and the Pan-African movement. See, I'm not stupid. There's foreign actors within in all three of these movements. The Manosphere is backed by the Russians. The Red Pill ideology is backed by white conservatives. The Pan-African movement is backed by the Chinese. FBA is backed by the CIA. And I don't know why though we have these discussions and y'all falling for it. Because didn't about 10 years ago, I remember 10 years ago, people were talking about the conscious community is backed by the FBI. Come to find out that certain agencies was in turn some of these people who y'all out here doing rah. So I refuse to get suckered in to y'all's little movements. Now I'm me as a black American. I'm going to defend myself as a black American when I see some African or a Caribbean talking shit. I'm going to defend myself on that. But don't act like, but at the same time, I'm not going to dehumanize any Caribbean and any African. And I'm not going to deny their history. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, Queen Sunkist said, why you keep changing your morning time? I don't know, Queen. I'm just fired up right now. I'm just fired up. I'm waiting for my bacon to thaw out. I bought some bacon a couple hours ago, and I'm trying to wait it to thaw out. I went to the butcher shop and got me some bacon. No. It's about that live stream the other day, Queen. That live stream on Monday. I'm talking about that. right? Because I'm really I'm really getting tired of people falling for these online movements, these online clicks. Yes. I go to the butcher shop to get my meat. You know, you know, hell, they be open before before the grocery store opens. So yeah, I got my shit. I forgot to get some pan sausages from there, but that's all right. I got my hamburger meat and I got my my bacon. I'm waiting for the bacon to thaw out. Anyway, where was I at? Right. Um, that's one of the best things living out in the country, because you can go to your fuck going to the grocery store. Just go to your meat market and you'll get it anyway. Um, but but yeah, I just think that people are being fooled. It's not that I believe it. I know people are being fooled, and I'm not saying this as trying to be, oh, this a presumptive asshole like I'm supposed to know everything. No, I seen this playbook happen before. See, back then I used to make fun of the conscious community. I used to make fun of them, and come to find out, everybody was calling me a coon and everything. Now look what happened. Look at the people within the conscious community now. They've been exposed. As I told them, as I said, because it was either me, that sorry nigga named Madhead Doctor, and what's the what's the other guy's name? We all see how, all you got to do is listen to these people over and over again and see how illogical some of the things that they be saying, and a lot of things to be saying is not even. It does not. It's some of it's not moral. A lot of it's not based upon morality, and the other part is not based upon on logic. See, I want to run things on logic and morality. Okay, some form of morality. Okay, that's how I want things to be operate. You can't sit there and try to make a movement based upon, you know, it's kind of like my anger I have against the manosphere, right? Now, a lot of people concerning the manosphere, like, like I'm use myself again. I'm use myself again. I got into that bullshit on the backs of what happened to Brian Banks, and when that white girl was walking in 10 hours in NYC, which was a closet racist video, and what that white girl did in Denison, Texas, when she said all about 5 black men, quote unquote, raped her, and she only did that so that her fiance would not leave for Iraq. That's the reason why I jumped into the red pill on that basis alone, and also the Gamergate issue. When it comes to find out that a lot of y'all was doing this for make money and make other men miserable, then I see there's no morality behind it. There's no quest for justice, or no quest to make things right. That's why I have a hatred of a lot of you. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I have a hatred because your movements is not based upon some noble idea. It's based upon because you want to fill up your pockets. So whether it's the manosphere, whether it's uh the pro blacks, the well, I always been saying the pro blacks have been full of shit anyway. I always have been saying the pro blacks are full of shit because the pro black uh red ball, green ball, black ball Negroes, their argument is, you see, the dark side on there is they want to say the blackity black shit when they're only doing it not because they want to see black people doing well. No. They saying this shit because they want sex. They want sex. And since black women has been constantly being told that they're ugly, and black women told though they're been disrespected, black women been maligned so many times on the online spaces that these pro blacks will say any and everything just to get these black women into the position to have sex. It was sexual access. So that's why I look at the conscious community and the pro-black community. That's why I look at them as jokes. Because I see why they're saying it. I see why they're saying it. And everybody will make fun of Umar. Umar was not the first person who was saying that lame ass shit. Because I see right through them. Okay? I see right through them what the fuck that they was doing. So, all this about money. All this about this dopamine hit. It's about the dopamine. If it isn't about money, it's about the dopamine. Or if it's not about dopamine, then it's about sexual access. Or the illusion of sexual access. And monetary gain. Now, though, we got foreign actors and government agencies across the world taking these talking points and revving and using social media to rev up further division. And y'all can't sit there and see that. Now, yes, I'm going to cook these punk ass tethers, right? Because they're talking shit about Black American history. But understand, I'm not going to demonize every Caribbean and every African. I'm not going to do that. Now, yeah, I cracked my head over the pro blacks and the B1 Negroes. Yeah, I cracked their heads. But understand, but black people in America does need to have their respect. See, the point, the thing is, what I want is racial justice concerning the African American community. But it must be based upon a moral standpoint, not on this hyperbolic need to. It's not based on this hyperbolic need to for monetary gain, a transactional gain. Now, my reasoning against the manosphere is not because I want sex. It's not because I want women to come at me and look at me favorably. First of all, I'm going to tell these women, go fuck yourselves. All right? The problem is the future of boys across the board need to be prevented from hearing you niggas. And when I said niggas, I'm talking about white and black. Because when I said the manosphere, Don't think I'm just talking about the black manosphere. I'm talking about the entire manosphere as a whole. I don't want some young 15-year-old boy listening to and having their youth destroyed behind your rhetoric, so that he will turn around and victimize his 16-year-old girl in his age group. It has nothing to do with sex or want women that, sex. No. You are the threat to boys. That's why I'm anti-manosphere. It's not about me trying to cape and peacock for women. Because the thing is, you're not based on a moral standpoint. If it was based upon a morality, a lot of this shit that y'all complain about would have been dealt with already. So that's why you don't see me be part of these stupid ass groups. That's why you don't see me cheerleading these groups online, these online groups, these online talking points. Because guess what? A lot of y'all are not normal. It's not normal. A lot of what's being said is not based on a normal perspective. Is based upon this. We got to be radicals. Everybody have to be a radical, or everybody have to do this my way or the highway. No, I refuse to be a part of any of that bullshit. And some people online sounding fucking insane. So, so that's all I'm going to say right now. I got this. I got one interview done. I got this one interview done. I did it the other day, the day of that live stream. But I'm only got a few hours of sleep behind that. Got another interview tomorrow. I'm trying to squeeze in a third interview in before the holidays, before Christmas comes up. Because I have a goal, right? I have a goal at this point, and like I told, like what I told a lot of you, there's none of you Negroes on the line I'm jealous of. I want what the white boys got. Okay, that is the goal. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. You can be anti-manosphere and say it don't work, but what do you have to offer? Listen, y'all, you know, a lot of y'all need to come to realize that y'all's leaders, quote unquote, don't have your best interest at heart. It's like what I said in 2015, right? And y'all, you can go back in my catalog because them videos are still up. I said, listen, y'all ain't trying to solve shit. I told Sidian, you ain't trying to solve shit. Don't, tell no Sidian, Tommy Sotomayor, y'all ain't trying to solve shit. Because if y'all did, if y'all did, you know, if black women, oh, but better yet, if women was such a problem, right? And if women was denying you the rights to do X, Y, and Z, you would have lobbied at this point. You would have a lobbying uh of movement to lobby officials on certain matters like child support or education and all and jobs and all that. You have a lobbying group at this point. But y'all don't. Now, Cap. Now, I saw you asking that question, right? Now, I'm trying to figure out what was the motive behind that question. Are you trying to ask the question? Do black men deserve to have power, or was the question was no? Was that question you was asking, was that a sincere question, or that was a troll, or are you asking it as a troll? Because I think that's why you was getting mixed signals on my chat room the other day, because they're trying to figure out where was you sincere or was you trolling. So, um, because you can't spend, and that's why I had that problem with mystery research. That's why me and mystery research got into a beef years ago, and I said, listen, you can't, you know, you respecting you respecting O'Shea, Angerman, and Obsidian to take black men to form this thing, form the commission, and so that black men could have a voice in a political stance. And I told him back then that's not going to work because it's not about black men. It's about their issues with black women. It's about their anger they have towards women, and how women have supposedly, whether it's true or not, fucked them over, screwed them over. So I'm just, because I see it. I mean, I don't know why people don't see it, but I'm the one. I'm looking at like, no, that's not. They're not working towards that. That's not on their mind. Their mind is on some monetary and try to raise popularity for themselves. It's not about, it's not about what many people or some people would like to see. Everything became bashing Keisha upside the head. Let's bash Keisha. Let's shame, blame, and explain. So hold on. Let me scroll up and see what Cap was saying. What's going on, Hammer Time? I guess Cap ain't saying anything after that, but it's all right. It's all right. He ain't saying much. So, but yeah, I just think that the adults need to come into the room and actually square this shit up, because people are losing their minds. They're losing their heads, and they're feeding themselves into the machine, and they thinking though they're operating out of the system when they are actually still part it, still it within in the system. It's kind of like what's that movie? Creep Show. I want it's Creep Show 1 or Creep Show 2. It's a classic horror movie back in the 80s, and I'm talking about the one with the raft, right? The teenagers on the raft, and them teenagers got on a raft and they went in the middle of the lake, and this sludge creature was eating these people. We eating them on the raft. So one of these survivors jumped off the raft and beat the this sludge, this creature, to the bank. So he thought he was safe, right? Because he sit there and say, "Oh, I beat you. I beat." Now he's on the bank. Now he's on the bank, not knowing the creature can jump off the bank, and that's what happened. The creature, instead of him running to the car and leaving, he sit there and and mocked the creature as it approached the bank, as if though the sludge was not going to get him when he's out of the water. Yet though the sludge jumped off the water, it snatched him and drug him right back in the water and eat his ass off. George Golden said, "Yeah, the raft will be Creep Show 2. Thank you. Creep Show 2. Right. I appreciate that." And that's how some people see. Some people thinking though they're fighting against the system and this, that, and third, when you're part of it. You ain't out of it. You still in it. You still in the lake with that sludge creek creature. You might think though, man, I'm on the bank. No, you're not. No, you far from the bank. And if you're still on the bank, why you still on the bank for? Why you still in the bank? You should be leaving the banks of that lake. You should be nowhere near. You should be like 20 feet away from the lake, from that bank. That creature would not come out of that lake that far into the lake to come get at you. You could have ran into your car and sped on off, just like the movie. Now, notice what May said. May said, "Oh, I'm Pan African now." See, people really need to understand what I said earlier. So now I'm Pan African when I just demonized the Pan Africans. No, all sides are guilty. The Pan Africans are actually created or funded by the Chinese. The CIA is funding FFBA. If people would actually understand what was going on, the Russians are funding the black manosphere or the red pill ideology. If people would actually sit there and actually think for months that you're being a chess, you're a pawn in somebody's chessboard. No, I'm not changing. I just see that all sides are bad. So I'm not changing. Some of y'all are arguing, and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what's his name got on Willie D's channel. The Saint and Sinner got on Willie D's channel and says and made up this claim that we should remain that segregation. Scratch that. He said segregation was good. Now I wonder if he ever talked to anybody over the age of 60 before he made that comment. I wonder if he find anybody who is 70, 75, 80, 85, 90 years old and ask him was segregation was good for black people back then. Because some of these things that y'all say, it sounds, I don't know, well, y'all think what was saying that you're supposed to sound good. Why? Because there were black businesses back then? No, black businesses failed in the 1970s. They failed because of the gold shock of 1971. It has nothing to do with integration. And y'all keep promoting the idea that integration destroyed the black businesses. That did not happen. It was the eroding of the economics of society in the 1970s and 80s. But yet we get people who never was born and raised in that era, making these erroneous comments and statements. Because all you have to do is look at the gold shock of 1971. Black businesses declined after 1972. That's also why black men was quote unquote left the house, the home. Had nothing to do with no welfare either. I don't know, so but if you talk to any 80, 85-year-old, see, I'm glad I got my grandparents still here, right? I have some of my grandparents are still here. They'll look at that shit and say, what the fuck these niggas on? One of them told me the other day, I had to drive across 2 counties to have a baby. When I could have that baby in that hospital 2 miles from the house. But y'all out here talking about, well, segregation was good? Really? And that's a life and death decision when you have a pregnant woman trying to give birth, but she can't go to the hospital that's within in a 5-mile radius. She had to go across county lines to get it. And then I'm hearing some 30-year-old nigga who don't know shit, and they talking about, oh, you know, no, the adults need to come into the room and sort this bullshit out, because a lot of y'all are saying some stupid ass shit. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. A lot of y'all be saying some insane shit that makes completely no sense. So yeah, I'm no favorite in this space. I'm not part of no fucking team in this space. Okay, you know, I'm part of no fucking group, because all these groups are dishonest. And it's not based upon some moral principle. It's based upon the need to cash in on other people's misery and other people's insecurity. So anyway, no, I'm not drop the link right now. Um, I'm not dropping the link because I just got off from work. I'm just putting this out here because I'm like, man, I've been on YouTube for 20 years, and the arguments are still the same. It's still the same ass arguments, and there's no evolution of thought. There's no evolution of thought. You know, at some point, you have to. At some point, like, you have to evolve to like the next level. Okay, yes, Claude Anderson, John Henry Clark, you know, uh, you know, we want to repeat all these people's names. Amos Wilson, we want to repeat all these people's names and shit. We don't have no friends. Whoa, 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 whoa. But then, okay, and we got no friends. Okay, and I heard it before. Can you say something new, please? So, yeah. Uh, so yeah. And no, and this idea of, it's one thing to be naturalistic, right? America, right? I find it funny how some of y'all thought that being American was being a coon. I was on that pro-American shit years ago, but I was called a coon. I mean, it's like, though, and now y'all only want to fly that American flag because these stupid tethers all of a sudden is talking crazy. You know, I find it very um, amusing on all of these online ideologies, these online groups. You know, so I guess I said enough. So anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I said enough for this hour. So I'm out. Have a good one.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.